Never cut corners, everybody. Never cut corners. Hey everybody, welcome back to another LEGO Room Update. Jordan here. Today we're going to be working on a few different things. The first thing I got to take care of is actually constructing a big green hill for the platform right back here. So I want to add rolling green hills on this raised platform in the LEGO City. I think they're going to do a great job of adding some elevation, some color, and just sort of a nice landscape for the LEGO City. So I'm pretty excited about that. The other day when I was out and about, I found some 2x4 green bricks on the pick and build wall at the LEGO store, and I think those are going to come in super handy when it comes to constructing a green hill for the platform here in the LEGO City. Not too long ago, I built this green hill for the campground using green plates. I definitely like the look of that. But now I'm going to try and create a hill using brick, which is a little bit more difficult than plate because they go vertical faster. One brick is 3 plates, but I want it to have a flat top and I don't have much room to work with on that platform. Its depth is only 15 inches. So if I want to make a tall hill that has a flat top, I can't use plate because it'll gobble up all my space pretty quickly. So I've constructed mountains and cliff edges using bricks, but never a hill. So it should be rather interesting trying to figure out how this is going to work. So I'm going to head over to my desk there and get started. This is for sure proving to be difficult, but I think I have the base construction of the hill completed. It is definitely looking a bit Minecraft-ish, if you will, because it's very symmetrical, very square, but this is once again the base structure, and I needed it to be symmetrical and square just for structure purposes. So I literally just staggered green brick, so they're all overlapped, and this is actually 96 studs long by 48 studs deep. It has an open back because that's going to be pressed up against a wall, and this huge surface right here will be topped with a flat plate so that we can potentially put a structure on top of this hill. Now it's all just staggered, and then there's some supports in the back that were built using some of the train supports and also some large Technic 1x16 bricks. And you'll probably note that this is currently not on a base plate of any type. So it's pretty much fully self-supported, and in fact it doesn't even need these supports at all. You could literally remove all those and it would stand on its own because it's built as one solid unit. So this is actually supporting that, and I also brought this in a little bit as well, so that acts as a nice support as well because those bricks are all interlocked. So I just sat down with a big drawer of 2x4 bricks and started slapping this thing together here. Didn't really know what size I wanted to make it, and I ended up going with 2 of the 48x48 plates. So it's time to make a Mills plate, which will support this giant hill. So this thing is pretty big. It's topped with tan plate. I found these 8x8s on the pad wall the other day. And I also found these white bricks on the pad wall as well, so that came in handy. Attaching it to the giant base plate is definitely proving to be difficult. That's because there's not a whole lot of support with this structure. I'm trying to do this in the most economical way possible. Of course, I could add more support structures underneath by using various 2x bricks and supporting each layer, or creating a grid like I did with some of my mountains, but I'm trying to do this in the most economical way possible. I think it's fully attached now, so that's good. The next thing I have to do is top it, and that's actually going to help support it as well because it'll interlock the top layer of bricks with the support beams and Technic 1x16 bricks. I would like to top this massive green hill with green plate, but I don't have enough green plate and I don't want to waste it all on this project. And I don't even think they make green 16x16 plates. I'm using a bunch of tan 16x16 plates. There's also a row in the front there of 4x plate, and then back here there's a row of 8x plate as well. And this should give it the perfect dimension to top this hill. And there's a bunch of support underneath as well, just various colored plates. Interlocking all of the different seams, and also I did green around the border here, and that's actually offset 1 stud, and that layer of green plate is actually going to adapt to the inner stud on the top layer of 2x4 green bricks. Just like that there, and of course this is going to need some additional support in the interior as well, and that's why I have some more of these train supports on my desk. I've got the top installed, all the supports underneath are doing a pretty good job of making it pretty solid. I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have cheaped out. I definitely should have done at least 1 layer of brick, probably halfway through, maybe even like a third of the way through and 2/3 of the way through and had an underlaying support, because there is a bit of separation happening here, which is a little bit difficult to fix when there's no support bricks underneath. You see that? It would definitely solve that problem. Maybe I should just pop the top off and fix that. But what I'm doing is reaching in from the inside and pushing these bricks down one by one as I make my way up top. I knew this would sort of be a problem, but I was like, I'm going to try and do it without it to save what? Like, oh man, hundreds of 2x bricks. Like, if I were just get away without doing that, I would save so many parts. But sometimes cutting corners with Lego just isn't the best way of doing it, because then you get unsupported stuff like this. And I shouldn't have cheaped out. I don't know what to do at this point now, but it looks good. Like, it's a good base structure. And once we add details to it and add some like cliff faces and rounded areas and plants, and fill some of this in with slopes and sheet slopes and plants, and I said plants twice, but fill it in with a bunch of different stuff, it'll look pretty good. But I'm thinking maybe I should have went through and supported it, that's for sure. So things just got a little bit messy because I'm going to be reinforcing it. Never cut corners, everybody. Never cut corners. Hey, look at that. For lunch, I got some chicken noodle soup in a Disney bowl. That's good. You know what? If I had enough bricks, well, I probably do have enough bricks, I would make this whole thing solid. But I'm not looking to use all of my bricks on one hill. I've got a lot of hills to build. But I'm building a substructure here which will give this thing a lot more support. It definitely took me a while to construct this hill, and I just think that's because I didn't have like a concrete plan. In hindsight, I should have started with the Mills plate and then built the brick layer by layer with the support brick underneath, just like you would normally, like I normally do when I build mountains or anything like that. But I didn't know how big I wanted it to be. I didn't know exactly how tall I wanted it to be. So there's definitely a lot of trial and error with just creating this and making sure it's properly supported as well. Now, I can't stress it enough. This is the base of the hill. This is not complete. Once we finish this, it'll look a lot better than it does, right? Because it just sort of looks like a Minecraft hill right now, right? But it'll definitely look a lot different once I add all the detail to it, just like my mountain did, right? The before and after photos. So we can definitely take something like this, throw a whack of pieces at it, and sort of transform it into something completely different, and that's what the plan is. One thing that really makes me happy about this, though, is the surface area that remains up top here. It's 72 studs wide and 36 studs deep. So we'll be able to put something pretty big on the top of this hill. That was sort of my goal, and that's why it goes up at such a sharp angle. Whereas if we were to use plates like the hill that we constructed for the campground and go the same height, there'd be nothing left on top. Like, it would just be one taper all the way up, and you wouldn't be able to, you know, put something big on top like a castle or something like that, because the surface area remaining would be tiny, just like that one is there. And my goal is to put something spectacular on top of this hill once it's fully detailed, that maybe being a castle. I don't think the Lion Knight's castle will fit, but maybe one of those other ones will. I also really wanted to build one of the rolling hills for the raised platform, so why don't we place this thing on there and see what it looks like. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I cannot stress enough that the details have not been added to the hill yet. And I know it looks square, and I know it looks like Minecraft, but we have not added the details yet. So this castle barely fits on it, and that castle up there is even bigger. The platform is definitely not big enough to make a giant castle scene, just because these castles are so big. You can see this one's hanging off the edge there a little bit as well. But this one does work on here, and we can make it work even better. When we add details, I can add rock faces and fill this in. So it's like a rock face, and the moat will actually work. Not that I'm going to place this castle on there, but it's just an example of what we could do. Integrating different colors like dark gray, light gray, dark green, olive, stuff like that, and just sort of fill this in and make it different terrains and different landscapes. Like one's part's a hill, right? One part's a rock face. So maybe it has like a little bit of a creek coming down or something, right? But I don't know, I just really wanted to create some sort of hill with all of those green pieces that I got from the fab wall the other day, and that's what I've come up with so far. Is it going to stay like this? I don't know. And I was thinking that maybe, like, if this is a green rolling hill, this is as tall as they would be. So this would be the tallest one. And maybe the next one that's beside it is a little bit lower, and then you sort of landscape them together so they flow properly. So if there's different heights, and then you sort of make them flow, you fill it in with bricks on one side so then it flows into the next one. So maybe it's not going to be like this on the edge. Maybe it's going to get filled in and it's one solid block and then it flows into the next one. There's definitely a lot of trial and error with this style of thing, especially when you're on a raised platform that's only 15 inches deep. Then you want to try and place some giant castles on that platform, and you want to have different elevation with rolling hills. There's going to be a lot of trial and error with this thing. I did say at the beginning of this video that this is what we're going to start our day with. And my other plan, honestly, is to integrate LED lights onto the shelf. So all of this stuff has got to come down, and I'm going to be putting LED lights on the back side of these shelves. I actually have the transformer, the lights, and the remote, so I have one set of working lights, and I could put that on the back of that shelf or that shelf over there. But there's one issue. Jose has the flu and is extremely tired. She's been watching babies while I've been building hills, so this is where I need to end the vlog. That's why we had chicken noodle soup earlier. She's been drinking tea with lemon and honey, and she's doing everything we can to get that out of her system, so I have to go let her sleep and look after babies. But at least we added the hill to the raised platform. But the next thing that I will be doing is adding lighting to the back of the shelves, at least one of them with that one light kit there, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Sorry we didn't get it done in this video. Honestly, I had full intentions of doing it, but it is what it is. Sickness and health comes first. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. Remember, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Farewell.